Okay, welcome to another video, guys. So today we're working on the Glock 26 project. This is the Garda with the stainless steel slide and the OD frame. And today we're working on our slide assembly. So I've got all my main components here. I've got the slide, my blowback unit with back plate, which I believe to be a Garda unit with a WE nozzle and piston head. I've got my ejector, which I need to install into the slide. I've got my inner barrel with hop unit, outer barrel, recoil guide rod, and the sights, which I need to install obviously to hold everything together. So first things first then, we're going to install some bare parts into the slide. So I need to first of all install the ejector and then also fit my front sight. Now, sights wise, I am still waiting for my Garda ones, which have got lost in the post along with my magazine release. So I don't know where they are. They are due to arrive at some point, but they just haven't arrived yet. So I've been digging around my box of parts and I've got some reasonable sights here. This is a genuine Garda steel one, because hopefully you can see on it, it says Glock on it. And this one is just a polymer version, I believe to be from a WE. It's not a high quality one or anything, but that should be sufficient because that will hold the blowback unit in place, no problem. So first of all, we need to install this front sight and then we're going to install the ejector here. There we go, that's in there nice and tight. So now we need to install the ejector. And it has to slide into place, and then it's a pretty tight fit usually, and we have to sort of, when I say press it into place, hit it with something hard to try and get it to lock into place basically. And actually this one has not needed any persuasion, that has dropped straight in. So now what we're going to do is install the blowback unit. Okay, so I've now got us a nice nozzle return spring, which is going to fit into here and pop in nicely. Actually got it on the wrong side. Put it in the correct side this time. There's only one side that these will go in. You'll see that the other side has a little rib which stops it going all the way in. So that is sufficient now, so that's fine. We've got our back plate for our blowback unit. And then we're going to install that into here. There we go, that's gone in now. All the way up. Nice, that's slid in perfectly. Now I'm going to install the rear sight, which will hold the blowback unit into place. And that is the blowback unit installed in our slide there. So now we're going to be doing our barrel and return spring. So this is my accidentally ordered Garda full assembly, which is the chamber and barrel. So it's got a nice 602 tight bore in a barrel with it, which is nice. Now, I always recommend that you take these apart before you install them. Now, if we have a quick look, you'll see exactly why. Here's your Garda enhanced unit. Notice our hop rubber is not installed correctly. If we look in the end of it, oh dear. So yeah, that's not a lot of good, is it? There we go. I'll take the arm out. Let's reseat that barrel. Oh, that rubber even. That rubber is quite hard. It's actually quite soft where it's going to make contact. So, but it isn't covered in oil or anything, which is quite nice. So that's something at least. So we're going to pop that back into place, hopefully get it lined up correctly this time. That seems to have gone in okay now. Try and hold it in place while I put the hop arm in. There we go, that's a bit better now. Right, just going to get this screw back in. So you can imagine some poor soul spends, don't know how much this part was to be fair, they spend a reasonable amount of money on this, you know, really fancy barrel and hop setup, and they go and install it in their, you know, Marui Glock 26, and it's garbage. So you need to make sure you check this stuff before you install it, making sure it's all together correctly. So this now needs to go into the outer barrel. That all locks in there nicely. Now, I've done a little bit of work on this outer barrel previously. You can see, hopefully here, there's a bit of filing that's gone on in this part here. And the reason why I've done that is because a lot of the Garda stuff didn't allow the barrel to drop down far enough. If you have a look on some of the Glock forums, it does show about making this a more pronounced cutout. And that just helps the barrel drop down out of the way, so when the slide comes back, it doesn't catch on the top. So I've done the modification on this one already, so I can't show you that, but rest assured I've done it. So that's all in there now, so that's all good. So we're going to drop that into the slide, and then we're going to install our guide rod with recoil springs as already assembled. So we need to insert it into the front first, push it through, and then it should drop into position, hopefully, like so. And there we have our slide assembly all together. So now we can put these two together. For whatever reason, that is not locking back. And it's something to do with this in here, because you can see the locking pin is not really engaging correctly. Right, let's take that out and have a quick look and see what the problem is. Looks okay. Can't see anything obvious at the moment. We can see we've got some considerable scratching underneath the hop unit there already, so that is obviously not going to help. I can see there are some marks on the underside of this. Maybe this is not going down far enough. I can actually see, I think, that this cutout here is not quite wide enough, so it's not allowing it to go all the way down. Yeah, I don't think that's making it go all the way down at all. So what we're going to do then is we'll remedy that. I'll just check that that's definitely the case. I'll put this back in. There we go. Yeah, so that little spring is not locating fully, but that shouldn't stop it doing what it needs to do. Now, it could be potentially that this is too high, which is obviously the front assembly. It's very possible that that is the case. So we might have to have this out and just file that down slightly. We're going to have another look, just see if we can see anything which is obvious. Everything looks good at the moment. That does not seem to want to go quite far enough back, which is a little odd. I think that'll be okay though. It might be something to do with that hop rubber, you know. All right, let's try again. So we're going to try and lock that in place. You can see this is still not locking up. So it's still not going up into position. So it's definitely binding up in some way, shape or form. Okay, so what we'll do then is we're going to try a standard takedown lever. So here we go, here's a stock one. Now, this would not really be a lot of good for this kind of build. And the reason why I've replaced this one for a steel or stainless steel one is because this is obviously what's holding the slide in place as it slams forwards. So this wouldn't last very long. So here's our other one. We'll just compare them side by side. The cutout in the bottom is a touch wider, but not massively. That top section does come up slightly more than the other one. So we might just take a little bit off the top of that, potentially. But before we do that, we're going to try the stock one in, see if that makes a difference. If that makes a difference, then we know it is actually this part we need to modify. If not, then we know it's something else. We're going to be looking at possibly the frame here. So let's run those together. And we can see it's still not going up and locking into place. So there's something else which is binding up here. So we know it's not this part here. So we know it's something else causing the problem. So what I think I am going to do is I'm going to get my other G26 build and I'm going to have a quick look at the hop unit. Now I built it a while back, so I can't remember exactly what modifications I've done to this. But I know I did some modifications to the hop unit. So we'll take the old hop unit out and see what that's like. So here's the other hop unit. It is another Garda one. This actually looks okay. It doesn't look like I did a lot of modifications to it, to be fair. It looks very similar, if not identical. Okay. So that's a little odd. In which case, I suspect it's probably going to be... So we're going to have a look at my other build, which you guys will see this one alongside the other one once I've finished it. So here's the lower of my other one. So this is the bottom part here. Now, there is a lot of wear on that. If I wipe that, that's actually got a lot of oil on it. It's quite shiny. So I suspect that is causing us a problem. So it's running up underneath the hop unit and really binding it up and trying to push it up into position. This one seems to go together fine. Now what we could do here is try to install the slide from this one onto this frame, and that will give us a good baseline as to whether or not that's all working well. And if it does lock into place, then we know it's probably something to do with the frame, not the slide and the hop unit. So slide that on. Yeah, that's locked straight in. Actually looks really good with the silver slide. I'll have to get another one of these, I think. So that has locked in place now. So we know that it's something to do with our frame. It's not to do with the slide. So let's take this off. Put this away for now. Okay, so I suspect it's something to do with this in here. So what I'm going to do is going to just give it a few passes with a file, a little bit of wet and dry, and see if I can just file that out slightly and give us the clearance we need to allow that to lock into place. Now I'm just taking off the top surface here. I'll just bevel the edge a little bit. And what I am going to do is just open this out slightly at the bottom, because that was, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but it's definitely different on this one to the stock one. There's a bit more room. So I'm just going to open this out a little bit. Okay, so I'm not going to modify the gun just yet. I'm just going to add this in, see if it makes a difference. Very bound up there. Now it is really binding up, which tells me I still think it's this part of the frame. So I'm going to install the frame upside down, which will drop the hammer down. You can see that it's still not locking up in place there. And it's still not going up. We could try the other hop unit in out of the other pistol and see if that actually makes a difference. Let's try that then. if it doesn't, because it could be that maybe this is a bit out of spec. Okay, so we've still got a bit of a problem here. Ah, no, that's actually gone in. Look, that's locked into place. Okay, so we now know it's something to do with that hop unit. It's not actually to do with the frame at all. See, there's very little marking on that, whereas there's lots on this. Okay, so now we're just going to compare the two, see what the difference is, if there are any. Obviously, differences are, mine original one's got this brass outer barrel, but other than that, it is the same. Nothing different there. It looks okay. I can't see anything that's obvious. It's definitely catching here. You can see it is, whereas it wasn't on this one. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to take a bit off of this, see if I can make this work. Because I could fit the other one in and it actually might work fine, but I'd like to just try this first, see if we can make it better. If it makes it slightly better, then I know I'm doing the right thing. It could just be there's like a moulding line. You can see there is a high spot here where I'm filing it. So it could just be that there's a high spot and it's just causing it to bind up a bit. Right, let's try that. Right, still not locking in. Still a problem. The other thing I would say with my other one is there's a lot of marring here, which I don't think is a big issue because that will just be it resting on the bottom piece there, but there doesn't seem to be any marking on this one. So I'll take a little bit off. I don't want to go mad. I'll take a little bit off and see if that helps. Let's try it again. Still nothing. Still not locking into place. Okay guys, I do apologise. My battery ran out mid me sorting this issue out. So I've been doing a bit more looking into the issues we've got. Now, here is our lower, and this is the hop unit and outer barrel out of my other Glock 26 airsoft pistol. Now, what happens here is you've got this little lip here, which hooks underneath this part just here. There's a little slot which it goes underneath, and then it locks into place with the locking tab. I can demonstrate that for you if I place that into position, and then I push it back. As I push it back, it will lock into place. So there we go. You see that's locked into place now. That inner barrel, and hop unit is locked in place. Now, the other one, let's get that back out again, does not do that. We can push it all we like, it will not lock into place. So I believe what we've got here is this little groove at the back here. So if we look, you can see this part here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure whether the light is good enough for that, but this little part of the back here has a little slot. This one has the same, but it's nowhere near as deep. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open that out slightly. Hopefully that will give us the clearance we need. Right, let's try that now. So it should go under there now and push back. No. Still doesn't seem to want to lock into place. So we've still got a little more to go. Okay, we'll try again. And again, we're just taking small amounts off, nothing major, until it starts to lock into place, which it feels like it's about to actually. So it feels like it's going much further in now, which is good. There we go, it's locked in now. Excellent, so we're all good. Right, so we should be able to assemble this now, and then we're all good. There we go, we're on. The trigger stays back as it should. And there we have our built semi-complete, well, it is complete now, Glock 26 in stainless with an OD frame. So we've got that together now, guys. I'm going to end the video here because next stage is obviously going to be tuning. As we found before, you know, we've done a bit of work to try and get this to work, or get it together. It seems to be together now. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work flawlessly. Let me know if there's anything you would have done differently here. Like I said, this is just my process, how I build these. I'm sure there are better ways, but this is just how I go about doing it. So if you've got a better way of making all this work together, feel free to let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one.